Most RPGs let you be the chosen one, the hero who saved the world, the guy with a destiny, magic powers, and app sculpted by the gods themselves. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 says, nah, you're Henry, a blacksmith's son whose special powers include drinking too much ale, running away from bandits, and occasionally remembering to sharpen a sword. It's clumsy, brutal, often hilarious, but underneath all the mud, beer and broken ribs, this game quietly asks one of the philosophy's biggest questions. Where do our ideas of good and evil even come from? And that's where Friedrich Nietzsche, the world's angriest mustache, barges into the tavern. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is set in the 15th century Bohemia, right in the middle of political chaos, civil war, and religious tension. You play Henry, a peasant boy turned warrior, still licking the wounds from the first game. This isn't your typical medieval fantasy RPG. There are no dragons, no fireballs, and definitely no press X to kill the Dark Lord. Instead, you are thrown into a world that prides itself on being historically accurate. And by accurate, I mean combat slow, methodical, and exhausting. Wearing armor makes you feel invincible, until you realize you can even climb a ladder in it. And if you forget to eat or sleep, congratulations, you've just invented your New Game Plus Malnutrition Edition.
I'm quite hungry.
Mechanically, the game is about more than fighting. Reputation actually matters. If you wander around covered in blood, villagers won't just shrug and sell you bread. They'll call the guards. Speech is as important as combat.
Deliver that message. That's because I'm responsible and know how to behave in a way that doesn't make me feel ashamed.
You can talk your way into or out of trouble, depending on your skill and your social status. Stealing chickens, people notice. Skipping confession, the priest notices. Everything you do feeds into the system where morality isn't just a stat. It's tied to a society you are living in. And the story leans into that. Henry isn't some free-floating hero.
Henry, our hero Henry.
He's caught between lords demanding loyalty, priests demanding obedience, and villagers who just want you to stop stealing their livestock. The beauty of the game is that it doesn't hand you simple good versus evil choices. It traps you into a world where morality is complicated, contradictory, and enforced with actual consequences. And that, weirdly enough, makes it the perfect playground for Nietzsche's genealogy of morality. Okay, now let's do a philosophy break. Friedrich Nietzsche, 19th century German philosopher, one of the most influential and misunderstood thinkers in history. His book on the genealogy of morality isn't exactly beach reading, but it's essential for understanding how morality evolved. Nietzsche's big ideas was this: our concepts of good and evil didn't come from universal truth. They were built slowly out of power struggles. He splits morality into two camps. First, master morality. This was the value system of the nobles, warriors, and conquerors. For them, good meant strength, wealth, vitality, and the ability to impose your will, and bad simply meant weak, pitiable, powerless, irrelevant. It wasn't about evil, it was about incompetence. Think of it as the moral system of people who never had to apologize in their lives. Then came slave morality. This was the value system of the oppressed. Peasants, the poor, the conquered. Unable to beat the powerful in open combat, they flipped the script. Suddenly good wasn't strength or pride. Good was humility, patience, obedience, and pity. Evil became pride, violence, and domination. And for Nietzsche, Christianity was the ultimate victory of this slave morality. It gave the weak dignity, but it also shackled society with guilt, shame, and self-denial. And this is where Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 comes in. Because what makes the game unique isn't just the realism in combat or setting, it's how it makes you live inside the exact moral conflict that Nietzsche described. As Henry, you don't start as a knight or a lord, you're a peasant. Powerless, dependent, defined by humility. The church tells you to confess your sins. The community expects you to be obedient, and survival depends on fitting in. Nietzsche would say, welcome to slave morality. You can just slaughter a village and walk away with XP. If you steal, lie, or disobey, people notice. They judge you throughout the lens of humility, piety, and obedience. And if you want to belong, you have to play along. But the nobility, the lords, the knights, and the mercenaries still operate by a very different code. For them, morality is about strength, honor, and power.
Like this band of fives!
They don't value weakness. They value victory. When you deal with nobles, you're reminded that in this world, master morality still lurks beneath the surface. If you're weak, you're dismissed, and if you're strong, you're respected, even if you're ruthless. And here's the genius part. Henry, and by extension you, the player, are caught right in the middle. Every decision you make pulls you between these two systems. Do you lean into slave morality, becoming the obedient, humble Christian who survives by playing along? Or do you fight, scheme, and dominate your way into something closer to master morality, where you define what's good by your own power? Nietzsche would argue this is the eternal struggle. Are you a member of the herd, or can you transcend it and become something greater? This isn't just an abstract philosophical exercise. The historical realism of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 makes the Nietzschean tension visible in a way no fantasy RPG ever could. Other games let you be a hero who sits outside the story, who bends morality to their will with glowing swords and destiny. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 forces you to live inside history.
My leg, damn it! You idiot!
You don't just choose morality, you feel it weighting down on you. You feel the contradiction. Contradiction needs described, because the game refuses to let you escape it. That ironically makes this mood so good. Burst-Stained RPG one of the most accurate roleplays of Nietzsche's Genealogy that you will ever find. So what role do you actually take in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? On the surface, you're Henry, a peasant boy who swings a sword like he's trying to kill himself with it, gets bossed around by priests and nobles, and occasionally is still chickened because you're broke. But on a deeper level, you are also role-playing Nietzsche's history of morality itself. You are the embodiment of that clash between master morality and slave morality, between strength and humility, power and obedience. And that's what makes this game so compelling. It's not just realistic because swords don't work like lightsabers, or because you have to take a bath once in a while.
There's no need to be embarrassed. Anyway, now to have a bath.
It's realistic because it throws you into a moral world that feels heavy, contradictory, and painfully human.
Do you know who I am?
Nietzsche wanted us to question where our morality came from, to see it not as timeless truth, but as the product of history, power, and resentment. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 doesn't give you an answer, it just forces you to leave the question, and sometimes die horribly in the mud because you forgot to block. So next time you boot up Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and wonder why everyone keeps calling you a sinner when you were just trying to pay for ale with stolen jewelry, remember, you're not just a medieval peasant, you're a walking, bumbling case of study in Nietzsche's philosophy. And sure, Nietzsche probably would have hated you for it, but hey, at least you finally got that chicken. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. We're 1,000 subscribers and that made me so happy. So see you soon, random internet brother.
Henry, reliable Henry, he gets the job done the best he can.